Hey everybody, today I'm going to show you how to set up a bulk import for Marketo Leads. So there's two ways that EasyCSV can do that. It can import them as straight leads through the API, or it can import them as form submissions. The benefit of form submissions is it'll trigger all your logic for after a form submission and all your alerting, whereas the API one has less of those automatic workflows that happens, but you can import more of them. So I'll show both, but we'll focus on form submission since that's the most popular use case. So we're going to start with a test CSV file I have here. Let's say we get this CSV file every day or every hour or whatever, and it's got email, first name, last name, company, telephone in this column. We don't care about asset name. So what you do is you take your example CSV file, you drag it here to set up your import page. So we're going to say Marketo Leads example import. We're only going to care about the columns we care about, so I don't need asset name. If there's other columns you don't care about, you can uncheck them, and EasyCSV will ignore them. So we'll go next. We will choose Marketo. If you don't see it here, you can search for it. Marketo. Cool. And now you have your import page. So this is where you can drag files onto to do an import. Once we set up some other stuff, you'll get an email address. You can email the files to. You can use a scheduled fetcher we have to go get the files from FTP, Google Drive, Dropbox, or a URL. So there's various ways to automate getting the file to EasyCSV. We also have an API where you can send a URL to a file and have this import page just import it and put it in Marketo. So you'll notice here if you go in the import data flow, this is kind of talking about all the ways that EasyCSV can get the files. The middle is the columns you've told EasyCSV to care about. You can filter out bad data if you want, like if you know that you don't want certain companies, or if email is blank, you don't want it. Virtual fields is where you can massage the data, so maybe you want to combine fields, like if you want first and last name in one field, you can do that, or if you want to split up a name field into first and last name, you can do that. You can do a lot of stuff with virtual fields. And the last part is where to send the data. So in our case, if you click on settings for Marketo, you'll notice here that the action we're doing by default is creating and updating leads. And so this is just the API version of creating a bulk number of leads, not form submissions. So this will work great if you have a high volume of leads and you want to make sure you update or create them, whereas a form submission will basically be create. I think also if you do a form submission of an existing lead, it'll actually upsert and update it and say that this person submitted the form more than once. So you'll put in host name, client ID, and client secret for both creating and updating leads and form submissions. But for form submission, you'll also put in the form ID, which we'll show here. So you're going to want to copy your host name here. You can see there's a link here on how to find, these details. You'll create an access token, and then you'll get the client ID and secret here. You'll also get these URLs. You can copy the identity or the REST URL into EasyCSV, and that's all you kind of need to do. So these are just some fake values I have here. You put in your secret, and then you'd put in your form ID. Usually it's some 4-digit number, and then you'll save. So save right there. Close that out. So now the last step for this import page is to map columns from the CSV file that we get to the Marketo API fields. In this case, to leads fields in the API. So click here. It'll take a second to load all the fields from Marketo. And you'll see here on the left, these are all the fields for the lead, not necessarily the fields for the form. This will look the same if you're submitting bulk creator update leads or form submissions, because they're all for leads. So in this case, we'll choose company. I like to Command F and just search for things I need, because sometimes you have a ton of fields for your leads in your account. In this case, this account has 200 some fields. So, also, you'll have to scroll down. You can grab the bar here. We're going to make this easier in the future, but we'll scroll to the bottom after you submit them, and you're going to want to click Save. You'll see here now we have 4 fields mapped, and your import page is set up. So you can email the files to here. You can use the scheduled fetcher. If you go to the import flow, you can also make a post request with the URL if you get a URL to a file every now and then. You can drag the file here. You can search for a Google Sheet. So it's ready to go. All you kind of have to do at this point is drag and drop, and then you could do a test import. I'm not going to do it in this case, but you're welcome to do it. If you need any help parsing, weird CSV files or anything, please reach out to EasyCSV support. We're here to help. That's it. Thanks.